Hello, everybody. It is Friday, the 8th of November. I'm going to title this Paganism versus the Enlightened Christianity or something like that. And to those who have followed my channel for a while, you will know that is full on irony because nowhere near. But this is really what we need to get out of, and I think we need to see history correctly to see where we came from and what we are, especially if we're Christians or were brought up in the Christian faith. We need to get out of that. Again, spurred on by the book that I'm reading, and it's called Not in His Image. I got that wrong in the last video, but other books that I have read. So, the dawn of Christianity, the spread of Christianity, and really looking at how it was spread, that enlightenment. And what was before, like the Hermetics, like the Gnostics, it was a golden age of reason, of knowledge, of inventions, and also spiritual knowledge. And at that time, the book Not in Its Image talks about the great library of Alexandria as a focal point for those that study and that would, in a way, they were the elite that would direct the world at that time. But the way it was done, way back when, was through debate, through putting up thesis and antithesis and coming to a synthesis. Just that, through sharing of thoughts and debating those thoughts. Yeah? And there it was reasonable. There was reason. Yeah? And it was done in that way until Christianity arrived. Now, again, the book Not in His Image speaks about a woman, the name escapes me at the moment, who was a lecturer in the library of Alexandria, who was brutally murdered by a mob of Christians, calling her a witch, a pagan witch. And that really set the tone for what happened afterwards all over Europe. Now, I read another book. You can see here how far I got with that, not very far. It's called The Scarlet Woman, there. It's written by a pastor. The Scarlet Woman is Rome. And it really goes through the Crusades that Rome conducted all over Europe. And I mean, they slaughtered their way through Europe. And that is why I didn't get very far reading this book, because there's only so much brutality I can read about before it seriously affects me. So I had to give that up. I said, I got the message, folks. I can't take any more details. That was basically why I stopped reading that. And then really go from there. The conquests of America, South America, it was a slaughterfest. It was the destruction of what Christians would have called pagan societies, which were quite often advanced societies. They had knowledge that we're only dreaming about at the moment. We're dreaming about it again because we once were at least at the start of that knowledge before Christianity came and destroyed it. It is the beast that brought the Dark Ages. It's Christianity. And I think the biggest mistake that the pagans made is because they were reasonable. They were civilized. Now, I'm not saying those societies were perfect, by no means. They had slavery, they had other things that we would now condemn, absolutely. But that was the dawn of what should have become an enlightened humanity. Yeah, so they were only at the dawn of that. So it was still not perfect, but if we had continued on that way, I think we would be in a completely different place now. If that beast had not risen and destroyed everything on its path. Yeah, and I was thinking about, I was going about the Old Testament, how they committed full-on genocide on their way to the Promised Land. Yeah? But then, if you look at Christian history correctly, they were no different. I mean, it was Judaism that spawned Christianity, and the apple didn't fall far from the tree. It really didn't. And then the next thing that spawned was Islam. And here we go again. As I said, the greatest mistake the pagans made at that time was because they were reasonable people. Yeah, and they were civilized people. They assumed that Christians were the same. I read yet another book which was, it's only a storytelling novel, but it's very good. It's the Mists of Avalon, where the priestesses and the druids, it's a retelling of the King Arthur story, where the priestesses and the druids in Avalon were cooperating with the monks, the Christian monks, again assuming that they were all on the same path. Yeah, that was just another branch of the knowledge that they could cooperate with and, reason with. And again, the monks were not reasonable. They were not. They killed the druids. They destroyed their knowledge. That's what they did wherever they went. Christianity was not enlightened nor reasonable. You know it by its fruit. And then if you look at the history correctly, they were brutal murderers, destroyers of knowledge. That is what they were. I mean, again, it has probably gone underground in a way, but it hasn't disappeared. They're still there. They're still doing what they always did, just in a more refined way. It's frowned upon, to burn people at the stake in the market square. We wouldn't do that anymore, but they find other ways to do what they have always done. So, and then the biggest difference between the pagan beliefs, what I can see now, and what then became the Christian doctrine, yeah, is first of all the knowledge of the all, of the field in which we all have our being, yeah. And then when we say there are different gods in paganism, that they worship different gods, well, I would say that was more for the masses to worship these things in the temple. I think the more those that were on a higher level of understanding knew that those were just different aspects of what is contained in the all. Yeah? They are representations of different aspects that are contained in the all, because the all is made out of parts. That is what they understood. It is reflected in everything you look at. Everything is made out of part. It is a reflection of that which is creating it, which is the all. So they understood that. And they probably also understood that the messages that were brought by those aspects, again, were not to be worshipped, but to be learned and to be really internalized, and then it creates the being, and then the being will think, speak, and do according to the enlightened knowledge that it was given by the several aspects of the all. That was the idea. As I said, for those of, I don't know how to say that without sounding derogative, because I don't want to be, but for those of a lower IQ, let's say it like that, religion was for them. Yeah? But as I said, those of a higher understanding would not have worshipped those deities, but they would have known as the gods know. You know, they would have seen the message in it and the knowledge in it, rather than worshipping the form, say it like that. But then the big difference that came was when Paul and all the others, Christians, taught that the whole of the Godhead, the all, had come to earth to become one person. And that is actually lunacy. And I would say the pagans themselves saw that as complete lunacy. It cannot be done. It is against what the all actually is in parts. And really, for one to hold the entirety of the knowledge, I've said it many times, if you really attempt that, you'll fry. It cannot be held by one. But that is what Christians taught. That it was all personified in the one person. And that that person was to be worshipped and obeyed, and that that person was the only thing that could save us. He would come and save us and do it for us. Yeah? Which is against everything, really, that was thought of in antiquity. The idea of one wasn't there. And it is lunacy. I mean, they must have looked at that as lunacy, and I'm looking at that as lunacy. And it goes against everything you can see, even in reality, which is not a reflection of there is just one. It's not. But as I said that at the time, and I think, because again, that book speaks about, again, that woman in the Library of Alexandria, and that she was really good at debating theological problems, you know. And I think she kept beating who was then the bishop or whatever he was of Alexandria, the Christian bishop. She kept beating him in debates, you know, again, applying reason to what he was saying and how it, you know, as I said, lunacy. But then that was the Christian answer to all of that. Form a mob and rip her apart, which is what they pretty much did. That was the Christian answer. That was the Christian way. You know, you can't beat them with reason in debates. Get together a mob and kill them. And that is what they did all over Europe, all over America, everywhere they went. Christianity is a beast. It's a brutal, mindless beast. It is a destroyer of knowledge. And it's based on an ideology, on a doctrine that is complete lunacy to start with. Well, if you believe in lunacy and it forms your being, then yes, you become a lunatic. And a brutal lunatic at that. That is, you know, righteous, zealot, brutal, inhuman. That is what they were, and I think they still are. They just can't make it as obvious anymore. Because a lot of what they things they did is now frowned upon. So they have to be a bit more devious. But they are that. And they're still doing it. So I really think we need to go back to the view that the pagans had of the all. We must go back to being able to debate these things, to bring our knowledge and have a conversation. Yeah? Again, Christians won't allow that. They are in that mindset. Yeah, they're not even engaging with what you're saying. They just, you must be saved by Jesus and you're going to hell. That's all you're getting from them. They can't debate. And then really to see that enlightenment will come through cooperation, through the many coming together to bring their knowledge and, as I said, thesis, antithesis, synthesis, go from there. That is how it should be. Now, for a while here, we were actually cooperating again, which is why I think, a lot of why humanity made such a jump. And it was technology through which we could talk to each other a lot easier than we were able to before. So the sharing of ideas happened a lot just in the recent times, which is why I think we made such a jump forward. Sadly, in the direction of technology, not in the other. But again, even that is being destroyed again at the moment. Cooperation has been full on destroyed. Enemies are being created, wars are being fought. We are forever being kept apart from each other, divided from each other, so that we cannot come together in the way the enlightened pagans did. And as I said, Christianity was a major part in the spread of that darkness, of the Dark Ages. It created it. Christianity created the Dark Ages and the darkness in this world. Through really replacing dialogue and debate with brutality. If you don't have the intelligence, or you have the wrong argument, then get them up together and kill them. That will solve that. And destroy their knowledge. Destroy their knowledge. And in the end, you will be the only ones left. And your knowledge will be the only knowledge. No matter how idiotic it actually is to start with, it will be the only knowledge in town. That is Christianity. And I think really people need to have their eyes open to that truth, that is what Christianity is. It is a beast. Anyway, here I leave it at that for today, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.